Good evening. Welcome to your adulting guide to early financial freedom by DragonFi. So, thank you very much sa audience natin ngayon for lending a bit of your time today. For sure, marami tayong matututunan tonight, including myself, because tonight we have a panel of experts that will help us guide us to be smart sa perang kinikita natin or nakukuha natin, no. And hindi lang 'yan. We will also learn how to make our money grow and work for us. So sobrang exciting. So please stay tuned until the end of our program para matuto tayo how to make our money work for us. So before we start, I'm Claude, the marketing associate of DragonFi. So could you please introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Franco.
I'm Marvin. I'm a fan of John and Franco. So
Good
kinikilig ako
evening.
ngayon.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening to all of you, and good evening once again sa audience natin ngayon. So since this is a live interactive webinar, please feel free na mag-comment down below sa ating comment section and start a discussion in the comment section. We love discussions here, and meron tayong chance na manalo ng 500 pesos worth of Starbucks e-gift certificates when you comment sa ating comment section. So, sobrang exciting. So, please comment down below and start a discussion there para natuto ka na, nakapagkape ka pa. Ayan.
Nice.
So, ayan, please stay tuned until the end of our program para malaman natin kung sinong winners and how to avail of the prize. Ayan. So, speaking of making our money work for us, so ano nga ba ibig sabihin nun? Sir John?
Making your money work for us. Well, you always associate it with investing, so that the money is growing on top of. It's earning a yield. Tapos parang there's profits over profits. Parang Marvin, can you elaborate?
ang hirap ka ng tanong eh. So,
Yeah, you caught me off guard.
I was actually shocked na parang wow, such profound question to start everything. For me it's basically this: when you have money working hard for you, parang it gives you the ability to, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you get to focus on your craft, and then you build something else that will also earn for you. You get something na, ayun, an extra set of assets or legs that will add to what you have. So what's interesting about that is, as humans, we get tired. We can't work hard forever. We can't work for 24 hours a day. But when you build something that works harder for you, ayun, even if you're 80, 90, 60, whatever age you are, it will be there already, and it's already set. That's giving you the ability to earn as well.
That's interesting. So, merong sinabi si Albert Einstein na compounding is the mankind's greatest invention because it allows for the reliable systemic accumulation of wealth. So, grabe si Albert Einstein na nagsabi nito. But Sir John, can you please elaborate kung ano ba yung compounding? Why is it important?
Yeah. Actually, the first time I read that phrase, I thought he was referring to something else. I was really surprised that he was actually referring to from a financial aspect. So compounding kasi allows for exponential growth. Why? You contrast it with linear growth, right? Kung let's say you're saving 10 pesos a year, but compounding allows for profits over profits or interest over interest. Meaning that, say for example, you invested 100 pesos and then it's earning a yield of 10% per annum. So the first year you earn 10 pesos, the next year you earn 10% on the 111 pesos. So that becomes 11 pesos. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, 11 pesos, right? And so on and so forth. So initially the growth is slow, pero it gets magnified over time. That's why there's the power of compounding talaga is really key to wealth creation.
What people need to know though about compounding also is, when people invest, they put an amount of money, then they expect that it will make them rich. Compounding works when you put in money.
Yeah.
When it earns, you don't take out the earnings, you reinvest it. When you have additional, you put it in. So that's when it becomes very, very powerful. When you don't take out the money, keep on adding, and whatever you earn from it, you just keep on piling it over as well.
Franco, what can you say about compounding interest?
So with what they've said already, I think I could add that when you start compounding, I think it's important to start early, when you're in your early 20s or something like that. Because when you start early, compounding creates a snowball effect, wherein when you start early, it's like having your snowball at the very top of the mountain, and when it starts to roll down, it grows down faster and larger each time. Just like how your money, with the power of compounding, will grow larger and faster with each year.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Pero sa mga audience natin ngayon, paano yung mga limited yung mga perang pang-invest o ganyan, or yung mga risk-averse na audience natin, baka may nanonood sa atin na risk-averse pa, natatakot pang mag-invest, or yung mga overwhelmed lang in general sa investing? Franco.
So you don't actually have to start with a large amount. You can start with like 500 pesos and then contribute 500 every month in a savings account or a investment opportunity that would yield you like 6%. And right now I'm 23, so after 42 years, let's say I want to retire, my investments would accumulate to 1 million with compounding. So it's a great opportunity.
Yun. So grabe, no? Yung power ng compounding interest kapag when you start young talaga, no? So maganda talaga yung pag nagsa-start ka ng maaga, as early as now, di ba?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yung interesting about compounding is it feels boring pag maliit lang yung amount. But kung you invest 500 pesos lang tapos kikita lang ako ng 5% or 10%. Pero what people need to realize is if it's done over a period of time, lumalaki siya.
Yeah.
And pag malaki na siya, that's when you actually feel it. That's when you see how big it is. That's why you have to start early. Kasi pag hindi mo sinimulan ng maaga, hindi rin siya lalaki. And the only time you get to feel it is pag malaki na siya. So dapat as early as you can. Kahit I always tell this to people it's not just saving and investing is never about the amount. People might be watching this, sabihin nila, wala akong 500 kasi breadwinner ako . If you can start with 50 pesos, start with 50, start with 100. Kasi what that does is it gives you discipline . Kasi if you're faithful with that very, very small amount, when more money comes your way, you already know what to do with it . Sometimes people get destroyed when they have a lot of money kasi they don't know how to handle it. When you start very, very small, pag na-promote ka, nilipat ka sa ibang company, tapos may extra ka na sweldo, masabi mo, ay parang kaya ko na yung 500, I'll do 500. Pero magagawa mo lang yun dahil nasanay ka na sa start . And it's never about how big it is. It's all about being consistent and doing it on a regular basis. Because when you are consistent, you can do it on a regular basis. Ayun, when more money comes your way, you know how to make it sustainable.
So Marvin, I can actually relate to that because as you mentioned earlier, before when I was like, I guess 17, when I started learning about all this finance stuff, I was quite hesitant because I only had a small amount and, it felt like nothing was going to happen immediately. So, as I continue to save my allowance and continue to add, eventually, at one point, I realized, hey, this is actually working. So I should keep going and see where this goes.
Yeah, and just like anything in life, right? The let's say the skill sets that you start early on in life has a bigger impact when you magnify it, when you project it across 20, 30 years into the future, right? Pero if you were to do it later on in life, the impact is much smaller.
Yeah, and meron din akong naisip no sa sinabi ninyo because a lot of young people nowadays, problema talaga yung patience sa atin because, sa amin na mga bata or mga kabataan may problema sa patience. They want everything instant. So, I think the value that is being taught pag nag-i-invest ka is really the value of patience, being disciplined, being consistent talaga when doing this. So speaking of which, so how can we get started sa investing? Because yun nga, like I've said, I guess the problem with us young people na nagsisimula pa lang mag-earn, ayan, mga bagong salita sa working force, ayan, mahirap sa amin yung mag-save kasi unang-una, syempre wala pa kaming savings unang-una. Tapos since nabubulag kami sa mga big girl and big boy money namin, di ba? So pag may nakikita kami na parang, oh, I can afford this. Nakita ko sa Shopee, kaya ko naman siyang bilhin. Napapa-add to cart nang hindi namin namamalayan na, ayun. So, what can you say or what tips can you share sa gantong klaseng dilemma that we have sa younger generation?
Wow, good question. So when I started out, hindi rin naman malaki yung sweldo ko eh. So parang naalala ko pa noon, yung sweldo ko kalahati twice a month, no. I was getting about 6,000 pesos pag natanggal na lahat ng taxes. Pero you make things do eh. I had a budget early on when I started out. Alam ko kung magkano pupunta sa pagkain, alam ko magkano pupunta sa syempre pag employee ka, kailangan mo ng polo, kailangan mo long sleeves. So meron akong budget para sa damit ko, tapos meron din akong budget for other items na importante. Pero what I made sure na no matter what happened was meron naka-allot para sa savings ko. Yun yung unang-unang kong in-allot doon, tapos I made do with the rest eh. And I think when you're this is what a lot of people minimize eh. People always think about gaano kalaki or gaano kaliit yung sweldo nila. Pero when you're young, you can be creative eh. Nagbabaon ako papunta sa office. Sumasabay ako sa kapitbahay ko na papunta in the same direction as me para kahit gigising ako ng maaga para hindi na lang ako maggastos on my own to be able to go there. Discard. And that's ano pa lang. That's about reducing expenses. There's a lot of things that people can do on their free time where they can actually earn money. So, if may time yung tao na mag-TikTok, mag-Shopee, may time ka rin also to be able to research on how you can actually earn more. So, I guess yung tip na mabibigay ko is, you have to prioritize saving, tapos make everything fit. Kasi kakasya siya eh. Kung hindi mo prioritize yung saving, mauubos talaga yon. But when you prioritize savings, you will always find a way to be able to do it eh. And eto na lang, super simple example. Syempre pag nagtatrabaho sa office, gusto mo manlibre sa birthday mo. So ako, gusto ko rin manlibre, pero yung technique ko, September birthday ko, kakosapin ko lahat ng mga office mates ko na September, tara, sabay-sabay tayo magano. Pero sa birthday ko, gagawin, ganyan. Pero naki-chip in kami lahat, so nakakatipid ako, ganun. So in short, madami kang magagawa para makatipid ka, para maka-earn. Para ayoko talaga matouch yung savings ko eh. Yun.
How about you, Franco? Siyempre, since fresh from school, baka meron ka pang, baka may relatable kang experiences na na-experience ng audience natin right now, na nagawan mo ng paraan, di ba? Nakapag-save ka.
I guess for me, what I've always followed was this personal finance rule where you pay yourself first. So essentially what that meant for me was, when I was given my allowance back in college and high school, I would always set aside a portion already that I would simply put, at the time I didn't have a bank account, so I put it under my clothes. So eventually I just kept doing that to the point where I had to open a bank account. So paying yourself first, it lets you avoid spending all of your income or allowance at the end of the month and leaves you with nothing. And a simple way to practice this is to follow a 50-30-20 budgeting rule, because essentially doing that, you manage your finances by dividing your income into 3 distinct categories. So you have 50% to your needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% to your savings. And what's happening here is you're training your mentality and your discipline into setting aside already a budgeted allocation for savings, and over time that will accumulate and you build a good saving habit.
Nako. When you get married, lahat yan pupunta sa asawa mo. That's what happened to me.
Meron pa mga common concern, no, na naririnig-rinig ko din from my friends, from the people around me, no. So, yung isa sa mga concerns nila, ibig sabihin ba nito, bawal na talagang bumili ng mga gusto nila? Sir John, ano bang...
No, not at all. Pero to chime in lang to what Marvin and Franco have said, right? Parang you feel you're depriving yourself, and during those times 20 years ago, I did feel I was depriving myself, but ginemify ko na lang eh. Parang inisip ko na lang talaga, lalaki siya na lalaki, and when you do that you feel gratified in the end eh. Kasi like what I keep on telling my kids, palagi kasi sabi nga sa kanila na yung balance is a destination, it's a destination. Parang you can't be balanced right away from the get-go. Actually, at the start, you want to be imbalanced so that later on you'll be balanced when you're old and you don't have the capacity to increase your income anymore.
Yeah. So, yung nakuha ko kay Sir John, no, nasa ano talaga, nasa kung how you think about things,
yeah.
no, nasa mindset siya.
Mindset.
Yeah, sige.
No, I was pretty imbalanced before. I would work 16 hours a day. I would work 8 hours on my job, then I would work the next 8 hours on other things that would help me make money. Kasi I think what people need to realize is it's not the responsibility of your office, of your company to make you rich. It's the responsibility of your office or your company na to give you security, na may sweldo ka, may kakainin ka every month, meron kang benefits, pag nagkasakit ka, you'll be taken care of also. Pero financial freedom, that's on you. So what I did was 9 to 6, I was working on my job. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I was working on my dreams kasi people need to realize that no one will work harder than your dreams more than you. So yun, if you think kulang, that was my motivation. If I wanted to buy something, it's not gonna come out of my salary. I have to get it somewhere else. I have to earn it somewhere else. Pero when I earned extra, hindi ko kagad ginagastos yun. Iniipon ko yun. Whatever was yung tira nung extra na yun, yun lang yung pambili ko ng luho ko with the goal of parang looking back, all of my friends were doon nag-start yung mga piece of fare ng Cebu Pacific at that time when I first graduated. I didn't go. I wasn't going. Pero yung ano nun is when you're older, you have the flexibility that hindi mo na kailangan mag piece of fare kasi you can go, you can do and go.
Anywhere.
Because you've already saved up without even touching your savings, without touching your active income as well.
Yeah, so,
Just to add also, if you do follow like the 50-30-20, you actually set aside a certain portion of your income dedicated to, your wants, what you want to spend on. So you don't have to like deprive yourself of your wants because you're already setting a fixed budget on that. And to whoever's watching, please let us know if you have any questions about how to budget properly and what else you can do to improve on your saving habits.
ayun. So, sabihin ng bottom line, hindi mo kailangang i-deprive yung sarili mo sa mga gusto mo talagang bilhin. It's just that you have to do it in moderation. And
Yes.
hindi talaga, hindi ka mag-over budget or hindi ka mag-overspend and all. But meron pang isang concern ang mga audience or yung mga naririnig-rinig ko from my friends, from the people around me. Kasi di ba 50-30-20 rule. Pero paano kapag yung needs mo, more than 50% yung nakakain nga sa expense, sa salary mo or sa source of income mo?
Yeah, same din. Kasi to be very practical, I was just getting 6,000 pesos every 15, then 6,000 the next 15.
Yeah.
Yun, when you're young, you have a lot of time eh. And you can use that time for you to be able to make money. So, kung kulang talaga, you can use that time for you to be able to earn. So, ano ginawa ko? Yung simplest way for me was lahat ng overtime ng mga office mates ko, kinukuha ko already. When you're young, your greatest income stream is still your job eh. So, mahal pa ako ng mga office mates ko kasi kinukuha ko lahat ng mga overtime nila. Kinukuha ko yung Saturday work kasi mentality ko nun, if I'm not working on a Saturday, ginagastos ko siya sa mall. So, magtrabaho na lang ako tapos papakainin pa ako ng office kasi overtime work tapos may extra pa ako na ano. So, I use that as a way for me to earn. Tapos when I found other ways to be able to get something, ayun, I use that to be able to get extra para matugunan yung needs ko. So, I think people need to get away from the mentality na eto yung sweldo ko, pagkasyahin ko na lang yung sweldo. Yan, yung common Filipino misconception na kung maikli ang kumot, mamaluktot. Parang ganun. Why not, kung maikli ang kumot, kumuha ka na mas malaking kumot. Don't limit the size of your dream just because you have one stream of income. Open up different streams of income to be able to accommodate whatever dream you have.
So,
Kaya ako siya idol eh kasi
Sir John, maraming
Inunahan lang niya ako eh. Inunahan lang niya ako.
streams of income. So, moving forward sa ating discussion, let's discuss naman the common money mistakes that people commit or people do. So, first common money mistake, I still have time. People think that they still have time. So, John, can you elaborate on this?
Actually, we've touched on this, diba? The longer you delay the less yung potent yung power of compounding becomes. That's why you really have to start early. Oh,
Ayun. So, okay. So, next naman na common money mistake na i-discuss natin ay...
oh. So yeah, so we have an example here now. For example, you're investing in your as a 25-year-old, right? And you're investing 2,000 pesos a month, and it's earning a 6% per annum yield. So at 65 years old, you will have
3.7 million.
So 3.7 million. So let's say you delayed until you were 35 to start investing, and you invested the same amount of money at 2,000 pesos per month with a 6% yield. So at 65, you will only have 1.89 million. So less than half. Oh no, sorry, a little bit more than half.
So, yun, grabe yung power ng pagsa-start ng maaga. Kasi tingnan mo, grabe yung difference between the two, But that doesn't mean na parang sabihin natin you're young at heart na lang.
Yeah.
But hindi naman siya kawalan. I mean, it's not, parang mas malala kapag if you don't start now, di ba? Yeah. So, yeah, siguro.
No, I wanted to say na parang ano lang yan eh. Parang diet or parang eating. You know it's bad to eat chocolate cake every day. You know it's bad to eat pork chop also every day. You know it's better to eat salads or fish, ganyan. But if you don't apply it, nothing's gonna happen. And I want to make it super practical lang. Nung nagsa-start ako, yung mga kaibigan ko na sabi nila magsa-start na lang ako mag-save pag na-promote ako, pag matanda na ako. Ngayon, ka-age ko sila, 40 na sila, di pa rin sila nakaka-save. Why? It's never about the amount eh. Kasi pag na-promote ka, lumaki sweldo mo, nagbabago rin yung stage mo sa life eh. Baka magkaanak ka na, baka may asawa ka na, may binabayaran kang kotse, may binabayaran kang bahay. And it will just pile up eh. If you wait for yung extra para mag-save ka, hindi ka talaga magkaka-extra. So that you really have to be faithful with what you have right now. Because when you're faithful with that, when more comes, you will know what to do with it eh. And yun, as what we said earlier, wala talaga siya sa laki ng amount eh. Kasi kung nasanay ka na gawin yun, automatic na siya eh. You already know na pag may, I'll make it super simple na, pero I don't know if it's applicable now. Yung salary ko before, every time na pumapasok, tatanggalin ko siya sa ATM, dinideposit ko siya sa passbook account. I made sure na dahil passbook account siya, hindi ko na siya makikita sa payroll account ko, hindi ko na siya magagalaw. Pag may sale sa mall, wala na siya doon. And dahil passbook siya, sarado yung bangko pag weekends, I don't get to touch it. And that was like a habit eh. Every time nakita ko lumalaki yung passbook ko na natutuwa ako. Tapos when it got bigger na pwede na ako mag-open ng time deposit. Sabi ko, wow, I finally have money working hard for me. Parang ganun. That all went to my wife. But anyways.
Ayun, so, wala, I also do that, no, yung kapag
Sabi ko na nga ba, sobrang yaman mo eh.
Grabe, still starting pa lang po.
I felt it eh.
Pero yun, wala
Sabi
lang.
ko, you were doing this for the love eh. Parang sabi ko na.
Grabe, yun, wala lang, nakaka-comfort na meron pala akong parehong habits as Sir Marvin.
Yeah, so next na common money mistake natin is keeping up with the Joneses. So, Sir Marvin, can you elaborate on this?
So yung term na yan, no, na parang may mga kaibigan ka, may mga kapitbahay ka na may bagong phone, may bagong bag, may bagong all of these items na gusto mong to keep up na meron ka rin. I guess I want to say this first, that what you buy does not define who you are. People always lock their identity based on what they can buy na. Kailangan bago rin lagi ko. Kasi ano yan, it will be a never ending cycle. Kasi yung coming from someone na I've seen how it is na yung dating Toyota Vios, parang pagkabili mo ng bagong Toyota Vios, parang mas na to parang I deserve an Altis. Pag nabili mo yung Altis, the moment nabili mo yung Altis, parang Fortuner na dapat kasi yung kapitbahay ko meron ganun eh. So I guess what I want to say is this, hindi masama mag-enjoy, hindi masama bilhin yung mga bagay na gusto mo, pero kung yung motivation mo lang para bilhin yun ay dahil nainggit ka lang doon, then you will end up, pagdating mo ng matanda, wala ka maiipon kasi you will just keep on buying things to be able to please people. And yung common say pa nga, kung meron kang saying na keeping up with the Joneses, you're just buying stuff also to impress other people that don't even like you. So, so sayang.
And I'd also like to add, no, kasi marami sa mga binibili natin, nagde-depreciate them over time. So for example, yung iPhone, di ba, like, labas lang sila na labas ng models and then, marami sa atin yung parang, when the new iPhone comes up, bibilin agad. Pero since mabilis labas ng bagong model si iPhone, di ba? So parang kinakain lang ng company or ng Apple yung pera mo, bili ka na ng bagong model ng iPhone. So, moving forward sa common money mistakes natin, the last common money mistake that we will discuss is not following your budget. So, Franco, can you elaborate on this?
So not for having a budget, something I've been a victim of in the past many times. And the problem with not having a budget is you tend to overspend.
Yeah.
And there are instances where you spend more than you can afford, which eventually you'd have to dip into your savings, which isn't a healthy habit, in order to pay for your expenses. And then it's also it doesn't help with saving because with a budget you do allocate a certain percentage to your savings. And so setting a budget is like setting a roadmap of your finances. You can track them, you can track your expenses, your income, and your savings. And normally a good way to track them is like through an budget apps or like an Excel file, which we do have, like our financial freedom workbook, which we'll discuss later. So the importance of having a budget is, one, you don't spend more than you should. It helps you accumulate more wealth because you're already budgeting your income. Like with the 50-30 rule, you have savings. Also, in order to do this, you have to be really honest with yourself, right? You have to really understand your financial situation, what you want, what you need to spend. And then with that, you can set like a clear, realistic goal. And I guess like a realistic goal would be like to cut your shopping expense by 5% every month. And with that, you should be well enough to build a good saving habit. But the most important factor that I think when it comes to this is having discipline, because you can set as many goals, have as many budgets as you want, but without discipline, you won't be able to keep your budget in line. You will end up going over budget, and that really won't help you in the long term.
So, grabe, no? Maganda talaga yung may budget kasi you're able to like visualize talaga na ito lang yung budget ko. Hindi siya abstract, di ba?
Yeah.
So, and maganda din yung sinabi niya, Franco, na parang na kahit gawa ka ng goals, kung hindi mo naman sinusunod, useless din siya, di ba? So, kailangan sunde, be disciplined with the set budget that you set for yourself. And kapag hindi naman nasusunod, may kailangan to i-adjust, di ba? So, ano naman siya, like, kailangan lang siyang i-streamline according to your lifestyle. So, yun. Moving forward to our discussion, So, ano na natin yung 50-30-20 rule? Nababanggit niyo palagi sa usapan natin. Pero, para sa kalaman ng ating audience, paano natin magagawa ito? Ayan, so, Sir Marvin.
Franco made a very, very good point already about budgeting. Kasi I've started budgeting ever since na kumita ako ng pera, nakalista talaga lahat. So natawa pa nga ako na sabi niya, mga budgeting apps. When I started out, not the expenses ko sa yellow pad paper. Yellow pad, tapos pagdating ko sa bahay, dinilipat ko pa sa Excel sa desktop kasi wala pang ipo uso laptop. May laptops, pero not everyone had laptops also at that time. So one way to follow your budget is, ito ginagawa ko, kung allowance ko for food, say, sample, 2,000 pesos, titira ko lang sa wallet ko na was 2,000 pesos so that I don't spend more than that. To make it super practical today, sabi na nagka-cash, yung wallet mo or yung bank account mo, yun lang itira mo doon para you make sure na yun lang ang ginagastos mo. So, you make it very, very hard for you to spend money, but you make it very, very easy for you to deposit. So, when you're conditioned already na ito lang yung pera ko, pagkakasyahin. So, that's why I tell people, a credit card is not something that's very, very bad. It's also not something that's good. It's based on who's holding it. It's whose hand is it on. If you don't know how to control using a credit card, maubos yung pera mo. However, if you know how to use it, you know how to control it will help you very, very well. Yung problem na sa credit cards, swipe ko lang na swipe, hindi mo alam magkano yung nagagastos mo. So, it's very, very important to have that amount of money na nakaset aside and then to condition yourself na huwag ka na napas doon. Yeah, so I'm sure there's more to
I think what Marvin's also trying to say is like you have to automate your investing and saving. So what he mentioned a while is a really good point where once you receive your income, you put it aside immediately or you withdraw it within the passbook. So you condition yourself not to spend it anymore.
Yeah, so I think no, yung pinakamaganda din with the time, like the present time that we have today, is we have the technology to really make allocating your stream of income easier, no? So we here at DragonFi, mas madali na pag-allocate no ng portion niya with the investment and savings. Kasi with DragonFi, no, you get instant kapag bagong sahod ka na, nakakatanggap mo lang ng sweldo mo sa payroll mo, you can instantly transfer no your portion of money that is dedicated to investment sa DragonFi, no? So technology really helps na these days, and I think we should use it to our advantage. And Sir John, may sinabi si Aristotle, no, na I think that's very, very important to emphasize to our audience.
I think, so Aristotle once said that we are what we repeatedly do. So, if you guys notice, in common threads and lahat ng discussion natin so far, it's incorporating the habits into your life.
Yeah.
Like Marvin has elaborated it, Rob has elaborated it, you've elaborated it. But it's just repetition. It's all about repetition talaga. And it's very similar. Like, similar to Marvin, ako rin before, talagang naging habit ko talaga early on that I should be really investing the majority of my savings.
And yun nga I think we humans talaga lives and thrives in patterns. So pag naka-establish ka na din talaga ng pattern na nasusundan mo, na sobrang easy to follow, I think sobrang natural na lang din na it will follow na talaga na lagi mo siyang ginagawa. So I think sobrang relevant yung sinabi ni Aristotle till now, di ba? So speaking of DragonFi, I have already tackled a bit about this, but we would like to share kung paano nga ba natutulungan ng DragonFi yung pag-automate ng savings and investments sa financial goals. So, Franco, can you?
Yeah. So here at DragonFi, we're here to help you with investing and automating the whole process. So this can be done in 3 simple steps in under less than 30 minutes. So what you want to do is you'd want to access your web browser on your phone or on your laptop and go to dragonfi.ph and then click on register and complete this process. And once you've done this, you can fund your account through our various payment channels via InstaPay, PesoNet, bank transfer, or bills payment. And once you've done that, you can start investing already. It's we do have a short clip here to show on the process of doing this. So an example of this is let's say Union Bank, right? So what you want to do is click on Union Bank, click on buy, and then you input the number of shares you want to buy and the limit price, which in this case is 85. So once you've done that, you can click send. You'll see how much you're gonna pay for this and the fees as well, and then you'll watch your order get filled. And after that, you're already invested in Union Bank.
Sobrang easy na lang. Dati, you have to do a lot of steps para makapag-invest. But now, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Ayun.
All under 30 minutes, by the way.
Sobrang bilis. Dati days yan inaabot, di ba?
Gathering from our discussion so far, it really looks like investing is the answer to really grow your money. But I think gusto lang din natin maging klaro sa audience natin. How can we start investing our money? Sir Marvin?
So there's a lot of ways for you to earn, and you can see it in the screen. No? You can use a high yield savings account, rental account, UITFs, mutual funds, dividend-paying stocks. I think what's very, very important is to study them so you know what you're getting into. Then all of the things that are mentioned here, maybe except for rental properties, don't require a large amount of capital. This is something right after watching this video, you can already start right away. So very important is to learn so that you know what you're getting into, because a lot of people also get scammed or they have false expectations na, nag-invest ako sa stock market, yayaman na ako kagad. It doesn't really work that way. So yun, what's very important is when you put money and then you earn. When you put money into an asset, they give you the potential to earn passive income. Very, very important that the term passive income, it does not, how do I say this? It requires volume, and for you to be able to do that also, you have to do it repeatedly over a long period of time. Don't just naglagay ka ng 1,000 pesos, you're thinking na magiging 100,000 or 1 million someday. It doesn't work that way. You keep on putting until you accumulate it, and then it becomes bigger. Then when it becomes bigger, that's when you notice how big it will be. But all of these things here that's flashed in the screen, those are all legitimate investments. Those are things that you can start researching and also try to invest right now as well.
Yun. So, sa lahat ng mga strategies na pinakita natin right now, ano sa tingin niyo yung pinaka ideal sa mga strategies na to? Sir John, what do you think?
Actually, it really depends on your financial capacity, right? Obviously, like what Marvin said, among the four, yung rental properties, that's the cost of participation is really very high, right? So, pero as far as I'm concerned, the most potent one is dividend-paying stocks. Why? Because, for example, high-yield savings account. Typically, ano lang yan the yield that you will get is fixed, right? But pag dividend-paying stocks, the dividends can grow over time. So, what are dividends? So, dividends are a share of a profits company, share of the profit a company earns, that is, it gives back to its shareholders, right? So, for example, like in Franco's example earlier, if I buy a share of Union Bank, whenever Union Bank distributes its profits, I get a share of that as a shareholder. So that's what dividends is all about. So the best dividend stocks increase their payout over time and pay dividends on a regular basis, quarterly, annually, etc. So yeah. So
dividend-paying stocks and dividend investing, and also, why do you think that this is the most ideal strategy, passive income strategy?
It's a straightforward and effective way to build wealth over time, because when you buy a dividend-paying stock, you essentially let yourself have a regular income stream, and over time, as the company grows, the payout will increase. So over time, your income stream will continue to grow. With dividend investing, you have also the option of reinvesting your dividends, which with the power of compounding will exponentially grow your investments, because when you reinvest your dividends, you're adding more shares, and with more shares, those shares will generate additional dividends. So that will keep on snowballing into a very large amount by the time you want to pull out of your investment. And these stocks, these high growth dividend-paying stocks, are also generally associated with well-established and financially stable companies. So during economic or market downturns, despite the market price going down, you still generate income from your dividends.
So you mentioned na kailangan stable and earning yung mga dividend-paying stocks na pina-purchase natin in order to really get what you pay for when you invest. No? So how can we identify stocks that are worth investing in?
So a good example of a high growth and dividend-paying stock is ICT, because if you look for context, if you look in the screen, if you started with 100,000 in 2003 and held for 20 years up until 2022, your 100,000 with dividend reinvesting would have grown to 12 million, as compared to the 7 million if you just held and took out all the dividends. And the great thing about a stock like ICT, well, for starters, it's engaged in global trade because it's in port services and terminals, right? So the dividend of ICT in 2003 was 0.30, right? And then in 2022, it grew to 5.56. And it's quite rare to find a company like ICT whose dividend exceeds the initial initial price you paid for, which was 3 pesos in 2003. So now it's 5.56 pesos. So you can see how well your dividend stream would have grown with ICT. And I think Sir John has a method of determining the safety of your dividend.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's I think it's beyond the scope of this discussion, but determining the safety of a dividend entails looking at fundamentals such as the return on equity of the stock, the dividend payout ratio, the debt to equity ratio. But essentially, that's it. But yeah, I think it's beyond the scope of this discussion.
Pero yun, ang maganda naman sa DragonFi, we have a lot of resources naman that we will share to you later para if you want to learn about dividend investing, you can check it out, diba? So, ayan. So, Erit, how about Erit?
Oh no, we just prepared this example kasi a lot of people, diba, we want to invest, we aspire to have a commercial property that we want to lease out. But again, the cost of participation in terms of acquiring a commercial property is really prohibitive for the majority of individuals, right? So, but there is a security called a real estate investment trust, or REITs for short, wherein you can invest in, for example, a REIT wherein the yield is around almost 6%. So it's a low cost way of what do you call this? Obtaining yield from commercial properties.
So, grabe, no? So, marami talagang ways to really learn, really earn and grow your money. Kahit hindi ka wala ka masyadong ginagawa, no? And ang dami na nating natutunan tonight, no, sa ikli ng pinag-usapan natin, pero marami, sobrang laman nung discussion natin, no? And my main takeaways are, first, you have to start early to make compounding work for you. So yung shinare nila Sir John and Franco and Sir Marvin about yung sinabi ni Albert Einstein, ano. And second, budgeting is key. So yung sinabi nila about 50-30-20 rule and how you have to be disciplined when you set your budget so that hindi tayo nalolost sa kung ano yung goals na sinet natin for ourselves. Third, we have to automatically set aside for savings and investments as soon as you receive your money. So, you have to pay yourself first, sabi nga ni Franco kanina, no? And maganda na meron tayong technology nowadays that can automate na talaga yung investments, no? Like, as soon as you receive your money from your payroll, di ba, kaya nang i-transfer agad sa mga sa investments natin, sa savings natin, like DragonFi, no? And lastly, we exploring passive income strategies, and they have suggested and they have emphasized, no, dividend investing. So maganda na you explore the strategies that we shared, and marami pa tayong i-share na resources so that you can really start researching. So ayan, at this point of our discussion, no, please ask questions kung meron kayong mga confusion sa mga napag-usapan natin so far, ano. And magkakaroon kayo ng chance to win 500 pesos worth of Starbucks e-certificates when you comment. So, ayan, di ba, nakapagtanong ka na sa amin, meron ng insights from the experts, nakakuha ka pa ng prize, di ba? So, please, go comment down below and ask questions, ano. So, ayan, merong sinabi si Warren Buffett na gustong, I think Sir John can elaborate.
Oh, so Warren Buffett once said that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until the day you die. So that has been yung parang the common theme that we've been elaborating on during this discussion. That you want to create a passive income portfolio, and you want to keep growing it over time, so that there comes a point wherein when your income capacity decreases, you can depend on this particular alternative income stream.
Yeah, so maganda, no, na sobrang exciting din sa people our age ni Franco na we can start as early as now, and malaki yung benefits na makukuha namin when we start as early as now. And sobrang laki ng potential, no, na makukuha namin when it comes to wealth building. And now that it's easier to invest because of technology, madali na lang sa amin, no, na makapag-invest and to start, no, investing and starting our investing journey. So speaking of the resources, no, palagi namin na nababanggit yung resources. We have a lot of resources here at DragonFi. Now you can check out para ma-start yun na yung journey nyo with investing. So first, we have a dividend screener to help you filter and sort dividend-paying stocks para makita nyo agad which stocks are the most ideal to invest. Second, we have passive income investing ebook. If you want to learn about the secrets to passive investing, so please check out dragonfi.ph. No? Nandyan lang yung ebook namin. You can check it out para mabasa nyo na agad. You learn the secrets to passive income investing. Third, we have passive income investing class on Udemy that you can check out, no, with the ebook para nasusundan nyo kung ano yung mga pinagsasabi namin sa ebook, sa ebook, no. And madali siyang sundan because it's bite size, no, and madali lang din siyang matapos. So in under 2 hours, meron ka ng knowledge, no, sa investing. And lastly, no, meron kaming ila-launch na bagong pakulo, and Sir John, can you please explain about Investing Club?
Yeah, so the research team and I will be launching the Investing Club. So I know that investing might seem complicated for the vast majority. So we're going to simplify it. We're going to manage real money model portfolio, investing in dividend-paying stocks that you can follow our investing journey. So please sign up. So Claude, how do they sign up for the Investing Club?
So, ayan. So, next slide please. Next slide. Ayan, before we share, no, how to join the Investing Club, kung na-miss nyo yung the big chunk of our discussion, you can watch the replay on YouTube, no. So it will be up after the web this discussion, no. So please check it out para kahit na marami kayo na-miss, mawawatch nyo ulit. So moving forward, next slide. Oh, okay. So
as I mentioned earlier, I did say that we have a financial freedom workbook. So with this one, it will help you budget your income and allocate your expenses. So we have a budget allocation page. So you divide it into 50, 30, 20, or 40, 20, 40, based on your preferences, because it's really up to you how you want to divide your income. And then we also have an expense tracker, so you can note down all the expenses within the month throughout the year. And then we also have 2 calculators. We have the investment goal calculator, which will help you, let's say you want to reach 1 million. This calculator will help you determine your monthly contribution. So for example, you would end up having to contribute 5,000 every month if you want to reach 1 million by the, let's say, 20th year. We also have the compound interest calculator, which will help you determine how much your money will grow with the power of compounding. And we also have a link to our website in our workbook.
And so napakadali na lang, no, because you can just customize, no, yung financial freedom week workbook namin according to your lifestyle, according to what you earn, kung ano yung gusto mong ma-reach by this amount of time, no. So please check out our financial freedom workbook. Later we will share how you can get, no, the financial freedom workbook. Ayan, so for the Investing Club, please stay tuned on sa aming mga Facebook sa mga SOCMED accounts namin. So it's at DragonFi HQ on Facebook and Instagram. So you can check out our SOCMED accounts para alam niyo yung mga latest updates about Investing Club, and it's really soon. So please follow us right now. Yun. So let's proceed, no, to our question and answer portion. It's really high time to hear from our audience. So Sir John, Sir Marvin, and Franco will answer questions from you. So please keep the questions coming, kahit nakapagsimula na tayo with Q&A. It's never too late to ask questions. So the first question is, pwede bang mag-invest kahit minimum wage? Anong investment vehicle ang pinaka-ideal para sa fresh grad at nagsisimula pa lang mag-invest? So who can answer this?
Marvin.
Okay. um, so if you're fresh grad, tapos yung minimum salary mo, all of the things we talked about earlier, yung UITFs, mutual funds, stock market, even putting it in time deposits, hindi kailangan ng malaking pera yun. Pwede mo siya simulan kagad eh. Pwede mo simulan even in the next few hours. Even in the next few hours after this video, you can actually try it already. So, I think what's very, very important is people get intimidated sa pag-invest. Or actually hindi nga yun eh. When I was starting out, lahat ng mga naging kasama ko tsaka mga peers ko, hindi yung kung saan mag-i-invest yung nagiging problem nila. Hindi nila priority yung pag-invest. So, I think it's a conscious reminder to allocate a certain amount on a regular basis na yun yung dapat ilagay mo. So, to answer the question, kung minimum wage earner ka tsaka fresh grad ka, I understand na hindi pa ganun kalaki yung sweldo doon. Pero, yung mindset dapat doon, hindi mo iniisip kung ano yung sweldo mo ngayon. Yung iniisip mo that pag lumaki na lalo yung sweldo mo, if you start doing it today, alam mo na kung saan lalagay pera mo. Kasi kung hinintay mo pa na lumaki sweldo mo para magsimula ka, hindi ka nakagain ng experience, hindi ka nakagain ng skill doon. And then, malaki pera mo pero hindi mo alam kung saan lalagay, malulugi ka rin doon. So, don't invest right now with the only goal na kumita ka at yayaman ka ngayon. Invest right now para matuto ka so that you already will, when you, sabihin natin 20 years old ka or 21 years old ka, iisipin mo to, pag nag-25 ka or 27, you already have 4 to 6 years of investing experience. Meaning, mas magaling ka na nun, mas maganda na yung decision making mo nun sa pag-invest, and you already have your share of wins and losses already. Kasi pag natalo ka sa investing, this is what I'll tell people. Maglagay ka 100, maglagay ka 500, maglagay ka 1,000, mawala lahat yun. That 1,000 pesos will teach you more than whatever you'll get from college. Because losing that amount will help you strive to become better eh. That the moment you get more money, alam mo na yung gagawin mo.
So, grabe yung experience na nabibigay no sa pag-invest as little as what you said, 100 or 500 pesos, diba? So, second question. Hi, sirs, how can you budget effectively or differently from the 50-30 method? Thank you. Sir John, maybe you can answer this.
So, how can you budget effectively differently from the actually in 50-30-20 method, as we said, it's just a template, it's just a guide, right? You can actually save more or less initially. And like what Marvin said, let's point to the earlier question wherein you're a fresh grad and you're only earning a minimum wage, right? So at that point, maybe you can save 5%, but then you're targeting to save 10% in the future, right? So it doesn't have to be 20 right away. That's just a guide. Pero as I mentioned earlier, my perspective on this is, I really try to gamify it, especially at the start. I wanted to save as much as I can. So I never put a cap. And I think for me, it was never about yung parang I was never actually saving or investing para isipin ko ano yung mabibili ko at the tail end. At that point in time talaga I really had nothing. So iniisip ko palagi na I didn't want to feel that way anymore. What I wanted to feel was financial independence.
I just want to say this. I remembered what I did was I placed my target, the amount that I wanted to save, to be so big. Na parang, if I remember it properly, parang my goal was to save 2,000 pesos a month. Pero my goal was to save 50,000 pesos a year. So if you try to look at it, 2,000 pesos a month will only be 24,000 pesos a year. Target ko 50. So parang it pushed me to find ways on how I can actually add more to be able to save it. And ganun din yun. We talked about this so many times at the start na wala yun sa laki ng kinikita mo eh. Again, pag bata ka, maliit sweldo mo, pero madami kang oras. Instead of watching TikTok, instead of spending a lot of things that won't propel you further, di gamitin mo na lang yung oras mo sa bagay na pwede mong pagkakitaan. It's more of a shift of focus. It's more of a shift of kung saan mo sinispend yung oras mo. So, if you're looking at yourself and you're saying na kulang talaga lahat eh, I would audit kung saan yung oras ko. Kasi kung kulang lahat as I'm not doing anything about it on my free time, then I think that's what I need to change. Hindi yung paglipat-lipat ng salary ko kasi I've seen it already. Yung mga office mates ko dati na palipat-lipat ng trabaho, every time na lumipat sila kasi mas malaki salary doon, they ended up the same. Wala rin sila naiipon eh. It's all about how you control what's coming your way, and it's all about what you do. Madami tayong quotable quotes sa mga Sir Aristotle. Pero para sa akin, gusto ko, this is something very quotable to me. What you do on your weekend will define how rich you will be. Kasi if you're spending all of your time during weekends on things that are not building wealth, then you can't expect 10, 20 years from now to have a lot of money. But if you start building and doing something at a very, very young age, and then when no one is looking, kasi people always look at your success when you have the money already, but they don't see that lahat ng mga yumaman, may ginagawa sila na hindi ginagawa ng ibang tao during weekends, during wee hours na mahirap. Kasi kung sobrang daling yumaman, lahat na tayo mayaman, hindi siya ganun eh. It's something na pinaghihirapan.
Yeah, perfect.
Also to add, what worked for me is to, well, as Marvin said, to set aside already, to every month you'd set a goal, and let's say you want to save like 2,000 a month, and that's how you can, that will help you effectively budget. And when you want to buy something, what always worked for me was I always gave myself some time to think about it. You don't always want to buy it immediately. Like you see something you want, you gotta grab it immediately. So that way, you really understand, like, do I really want this? Do I really need this? So after a few days, if you forget about it, you never really, wanted it in the first place. So aside from the 50-30-20 rule, you can practice, discipline.
Yeah. Actually, nakaka-relate ako sa ginagawa niya. Kapag may gusto talaga ako, dinedelay ko muna, tapos pinag-iisipan ko, do I really want this? Tapos kapag nakalimutan ko na after siguro 1 month, hindi ko naman talaga kailangan in the first place, di ba? Ayan, so, second question. Tips on how to convince my mother na 48 years old na lahat ng pera ay nasa iisang bank account without any investment and insurance. I am 24 years old with MP2, gold stocks, crypto, bonds, and mutual funds, insurance, and VUL, not a lot as investments. Who can start? Maybe Sir Marvin can start this time.
So that's a good question. We have to understand this, that as Filipinos, we're not a savings and investment culture, our culture is not like we're not like Singaporeans or Chinese or other nationalities na importante sa kanila mag-ipon. Hindi tayo ganun eh. Sa atin, kahit minsan nga walang makain basta maganda yung kotse, or di ba? May mga ganun eh, parang bibili ng kotse para mapakita, pero walang panggas, walang pang toll gate, gagamitin mo lang once a week or once a month also, pero para mapakita na meron kang mas una yung yabang sa atin, tawag nga nila ROE, return on ego, na parang bibili mo yung bagay para mukha kang mayaman eh. Pero you don't have to. That's why it's harder to convince people to be able to save, kasi pag nag-ipon ka, pag nag-invest ka, hindi nila nakikita yun eh. Gusto ng Pilipino to flaunt kagad, kaya nga people buy those expensive bags also para, you're doing better in life eh. If they're close-minded, it would be very, very hard to convince them. Pero this is what's very, very interesting. When I started out, a lot of people also didn't want to invest, family, friends, office mates, but everyone that sees you as someone that's different are looking at you eh. Then when they see you succeed, when they see, bakit siya, may ipon siya, bakit siya ganun? When I was still working, yung supervisors ko lumalapit sa akin, humingi ng financial advice, and they were earning more than me already. Kasi sabi nila, Marvin, bakit ganun? 6 months ka pa lang dito, ako 5 years na, mas malaki na ipon mo sa akin. Let your life speak of how investments will work. Kasi when they see it in your life, you don't have to convince them eh. You don't have to persuade them. Kasi mahirap din, baka may utang ka sa nanay mo eh. Kung may utang ka sa nanay mo, mahirap siya convince kasi invest ka dyan, may utang ka sa akin, hindi ka nagbabayad eh. Diba? So parang ganun. So, let your life speak. Don't force them to invest. Kasi kung pinilit mo, tapos nalugi sila, ikaw rin sisisihin nila. So better play the long game and let them like it because they see something that's different in you as well.
Yeah.
Franco.
So with this question, this is actually a very good question, and based on for my opinion, I think at this age, at 48, your mother is more risk averse. So the best thing you can do is you can show her. There are a lot of articles online about passive investing or like bonds and time deposits. So, with one way to do this is you can weigh the cost and the benefit and the disadvantages of saving and investing, and maybe that will convince her. And you could also have her sit down, if she's open to it. You can have her sit down with a financial professional, which would walk her through the whole process, ensuring that her her savings would be kept intact by the time she wants to retire and withdraw it.
For me, parang your mom is now 48 and very similar sa, I think I told this to Marvin earlier, very similar sa case ko. My dad talaga never wanted to discuss about money matters eh. But so I feel for your mom, since 48 years old na siya, kailangan mas baby step na and mas conservative. There are money market funds right now na earning like 4.8%. 4.8%, almost risk-free. Kasi it's being invested in mga BSP bills. I also want to commend you for being 24 and having yung parang you're having that many investments. Para you're like Franco right here. Who's you guys are very, very similar in that way.
Yung tanong din John kung may love life siya kasi aning nila dyan kung walang love life.
I guess without partners, you kind of save a lot more. Would you say?
Ay, so ibig sabihin, kailangan walang jowa.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Totoo yun kasi liability yun kasi extra expense yun. Pero this is what I realized eh. When I was younger, ayoko mag-girlfriend kasi extra expense eh. Date, tas ako magbabayad. Pero when I met the one, they bring out the best in you. So
it becomes worth it, right?
So you'll actually earn more eh. So parang gano'n. And I've done better with my wife.
Ayan, so yung next question naman natin ay, yung life insurance parte din ng investment portfolio dapat. Ang dami kasi ng mga bull na may kasamang investments plus insurance, tapos ino-offer sa banks. Anong opinion nyo doon? Sir John, maybe you can start.
Yeah, sure. Ako, yung mga, they call these things mga structured products, right? Wherein they combine elements of different individual securities into one product. Usually palagi sa finance, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So palagi may trade-offs eh. So since meron siyang insurance component, chances are yung yield component yan mababa. So it really depends. It really depends if for example na again, there's no right or wrong answer sa mga ganitong klase. Kung if you believe na talagang you really need the insurance, I don't know if the insurance is a life insurance. So if the benefits of that life insurance is really parang important to you, then it's okay, right? But then if you're somebody who's after more yield, then it may not be the right investment vehicle.
Okay, so people need to differentiate what life insurance is versus stocks, bonds, or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, life insurance is not an investment tool. It's a risk management tool. The goal of life insurance is if something happens to you, yung parents mo, yung anak mo, people who are dependent on you, will get something. If you are the breadwinner, then there's a sudden interruption of, there's a certain interruption of, how do I say this? Certain interruption of income. So, kung kunyari ikaw kumikita, tapos may umasa sa'yo, tapos nawala ka, doon magbe-benefit yung life insurance. So, people have to look at it that way, na you don't look at life insurance as yield. You look at it that if 28 ka, may nangyari, ano pang tuition ng anak mo? Pero yung kapalit naman doon, you also have to think about if you live long enough also, edi yung binayad mo na insurance, di ano na yun, that's the premium that you pay, that they shoulder the risk also on your behalf as well. So I think people get disappointed when they think about it na naglagay ako ng 100,000 pesos dito, tapos pagtingin ko sa account ko, I only have 7,000 pesos there, because every time you put your money in a VUL, a large chunk of it really goes to the insurance, because at the end of the day, a VUL is insurance product. It's not really an investment product. So ganun din naman, even if you put your money in term insurance, every time you put your money in term insurance, say 10,000, 20,000 in one go, 20,000 wala na yun, premium na yun, nothing goes nothing goes to you. So I think it's knowing na kung ano yung pinapasok mo, ano yung I guess mga fees attached to it as well, so that you don't get disenfranchised if it doesn't go the way you want to go as well.
How about you?
Personally, I don't have that much experience with insurance, but with what Sir Marvin, Sir John said, I do agree that if you focused on accumulating and building your wealth, then I suppose that an insurance or a VUL wouldn't be the case for you. But if you're concerned about your managing risk like your life and your health, then definitely go for an insurance, because because during times of emergency, if an unforeseen medical expenses, then your insurance would benefit you.
So I'll give you another example. No, it's not kasi people always put blanket statements na basta kumikita ka na, kuha ka na ng insurance. It doesn't work that way. Like for example, you have three people, 23 years old, 23 years old, 23 years old. This one, 23 years old, walang love life, walang anak, walang magulang na sinusuportahan. Everything that he gets is sa kanya lang lahat. Yung itong 23 na to, sinusuportahan niya kapatid niya, magulang niya, ibang set of responsibilities din yon. Ito naman, probably may anak na siya. So, iba-iba yung kailangan mong pagkunan ng insurance also eh. Probably this one. So, rule of thumb, pag tingin mong walang iyak pag namatay ka, hindi mo kailangan, joke lang, hindi mo kailangan ng
So you'd say that it's not really a matter of age, it's more of a matter of dependence?
Yeah, and it's a matter of
Priorities.
who you need to protect also.
I see.
Kasi it can also be na may kapatid ka, may magulang ka, pero yung magulang mo mas mayaman sa'yo. So why do you need to protect? Why do you need to protect them also when they can be self-sufficient even if you're not around? But it's a different case if may magulang ka and then ikaw breadwinner, then you need to protect them also, that if something happens, meron kang makukuhanan ng may revenue na makukuhanan. Pero it's progressive. I mean, it's not static. Kasi things change eh. What if you're already 55 and then meron ka ng say 30 million pesos sa bank on top of your stocks, on top of your property, na if namatay ka, kukunin lang nila yung sa bank, kukunin lang ng family mo sa bank, they'll be okay. So, you have to look at it from different stages of your life.
So, bottom line, you have to assess kung ano yung lifestyle or kung ano yung situation ng buhay nyo when you decide on these types of things. So, next question, no? Pwede po ba kayong gumawa ng tutorial o walkthrough sa DragonFi platform in Taglish? Sir John, maybe you can answer this the best.
Sure. Sige, we'll work on this right away. We'll make sure we'll have a walkthrough na Taglish.
Ayan, so yan, antayin nyo yan, darating din yan, for sure, magagawa din natin yan ng paraan, yung walkthrough in Taglish. So next question, in your opinion, mas okay ba mag-invest sa dividends or sa franchise?
These are tough questions.
For me, it depends also on your financial situation. Let's say you don't have enough for a franchise, so the best option would be to invest in dividends. But if you're geared towards, being an entrepreneur or having your own business and growing something after that, then you could go for a franchise. And there are many options, there are many options for a franchise.
Sir John, maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, actually, Marvin and I discussed this earlier. For me, I really prefer dividends over a franchise. Why? Because typically, first of all, yung mga top tier brands like McDonald's and Jollibee, sobrang taas na talaga. It's so expensive, right? And yung parang the payback period, return on your investment is already very muted. Secondly, yung mga pag nagka-franchise ka, typically there's like a 5% royalty fee, then a 5% marketing fee on top of that. And ang typical after-tax margin ng restaurant is in the low teens. So if you take that 10% out, the returns are really, really not that great anymore. Whereas for me, dividend investing, when done right, especially in the Philippine context with sa PSE, you're actually investing puro mga oligopolies and monopolies, right? These are already the category leaders in their space, and they'll be there 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. So for me, and mga umaabot na mga nag-list na sa Philippine Stock Exchange, especially the big ones, the larger ones, the ones that are part of the PSEI 30, these guys are parang vetted na. These are the category leaders as I mentioned.
I'll answer something na hindi natin sinagot sa TikTok para abangan nila yung TikTok video, di ba?
Cool.
franchising is basically you being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Buying dividend stocks is you being an investor. So a lot of people go into franchising is because probably they have the money, but they don't have the experience, or they don't know anything about business. Kaya nga sila mag-franchise kasi they will just follow a model that's already given to them. If you want just exposure to a business, but you don't want to operate it, you don't want to learn the rudiments, that's what dividend investing can actually do for you. Kasi you're just basically putting your money and then making it work hard for you. If you're, how do I say this? If you're going to franchising, you're an operator, you're an entrepreneur, you're taking a larger amount of risk also. But if it's done right also, you could possibly get a larger amount of return. When you go dividend investing, you essentially, for example, give your money to Globe, you give your money to PLDT, and every time you give your money to someone also that will really do the hard work, they're incentivized to earn more. So if you're at the stage of your life where you want larger growth, franchising will help if it's done right. But again, high risk, high reward. If it's not done right, you can also lose everything.
Yeah.
Dividend investing is, what's nice about it is, hindi ka na satisfied dun sa company na to, sell, transfer to another one that you like. It's very, very liquid. If you go to franchise, napatayo mo, na rent mo na yun, nabili mo na lahat ng equipment, you're stuck already. Unlike sa stocks, you can transfer if it doesn't give you the return that you want. You can just move from one stock to another. And then passive na siya. Hindi na siya, kanina we were talking about real estate and different investments. So, yung, kunyari, it's entrepreneurial. May business ka, kailangan mo maningil, may risk ka pa na hindi ka mabayaran. Kung dividends yan, every quarter dadating yun, bawas na yung tax also. So it's really something that's very, very passive. So I guess it depends on where you are and what you actually need in life. But theoretically, if you can have both kasi they're both assets for you. The more assets you have, the better. Like si Franco, asset niya yung good looks niya also. So, he has stocks, he has mutual funds, and he has good looks pa.
Oh, you're too kind.
Something I don't have, but anyways.
That's not true.
Ayan, so next question, when is the right time to buy stocks? Sir John.
Always during actually parang palagi ko narinig sa people, the market is bad. But that's actually the perfect place to start hunting for dividend paying stocks. Kasi that's when the yield is high and actually you're actually mas de-risk ka since you're paying a lower valuation for stocks. So now in this bear market is actually a pretty good time to start investing in stocks.
Yeah, I do agree. It's the best opportunity to buy stocks is when the market is down because everything's at a discount. And although you do have to be careful, you have to understand the company's fundamentals if you're going to invest long term. And the important thing when you're investing in the bear market is you don't rush into this. You don't want to chase the price. You want to wait for the price to hit a certain level that you're comfortable investing in, and from there you can start buying.
There's so many ways to answer
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Number one is this. So you can actually look at technical analysis. You can look at the trend. When it's a downtrend, you could avoid it first. You can wait until there's a reversal, or you could use support and resistance. When it bounces from a certain level of support, you can start buying. However, that being said, and having seen so many people over the past years also, hindi yung timing yung problem eh. Kasi when everything is scary, ayaw mag-invest ng tao kasi nakakatakot eh. When everything is bullish, ayaw din mag-invest ng tao kasi mahal na lahat. So, if you will base everything on that, di hindi ka na talaga makaka-invest eh. Kasi that's what people were saying nung January 2018. Taas ng market, 8,000 plus already, hindi na ako makaka-invest. Then when COVID hit also, bumagsak yung market below 5,000, people didn't want to invest also kasi it's scary. I think above and beyond timing, what's important is to build volume eh. Kasi even if you buy it at the right time, you put 500 pesos, madoble mo yun, 1,000 pesos doesn't change your life eh. But if you continue to accumulate and do that for a period of time, if you'll ask me if I have a choice between 1 million pesos earning 50% a year than 50 million pesos earning 10%, I'd rather have a larger amount of volume with something that will earn smaller because something that's smaller I can replicate on a regular basis. So what am I trying to say here? It's nice to time the market. It's nice to be there when nabili mo siya ng pinaka mababa. Pero what's more important is you do it over a stretched period of time. You build it when it's scary, but also be cognizant that hindi mo kayayaman kung ginawa mo lang yung 3 buwan eh. Dapat gagawin mo siya on a regular basis until it becomes substantial already. So my answer from a financial planning point of view is you keep on investing up until you hit whatever goals you have. Pag nadoble mo na pera mo pero hindi mo pa naman na-hit yung goal mo, di wag ka pa umalis sa market, mag-invest ka pa. Kung goal mo 50 million pesos, naka 3 million ka pa lang, kahit kumita ka na ng doble, mag-invest ka pa rin. It will all be predicated on what goals you have.
Yeah, perfect yung answer ni Marvin. Obviously, when we're responding to your questions, parang we speak in generalities, right? Pero talaga there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of nuance to investing. And sobrang spot on yung sinabi ni Marvin about tranching in eh. Hindi naman yan one shot eh. It's about you layering it on top of the other eh. You have to tranche in your investment. But my point earlier was yung parang for dividend-based investors, you actually want to buy when the prices are cheap. That's what I'm saying. Kaya I was answering your question directly na when is the time to invest? The time to invest is during bear markets. But tama si Marvin kasi I also implement a lot of different strategies like yung mga technical analysis and all that. But from the standpoint of dividend-based investing, it's during bear markets.
And just to add, maganda sa dividend investing, when it's low, your yields become higher already.
Yes.
And then when the market recovers, you also have that appreciation side as well. And I think that's something that's not talked about as much kasi people always look at capital appreciation or trading. But dividend investing is amazing, and especially if you buy it at a very, very low price, your cost of acquisition is lower.
Yep.
Ayan. So, moving forward to our next question, no? So, I have completed my 1 year worth of emergency fund. Should I just keep adding to my emergency fund or should I divert it to another basket? Example, dividend stocks, property fund, savings. Maybe Franco can start this time.
So if you do achieve your goal, then you definitely can start diverting some of your budget into savings or into stocks or a property fund, because that way your money will continue to grow. Because if you keep adding your adding to your emergency fund, it won't grow exponentially as if when you dividend invest, right?
Sir John.
Yeah, it depends again on your individual financial situation, right? But and also your financial goals. Kasi I mean, we're here talking about yung mga our answers always parang like what Marvin was saying earlier. It's actually predicated also on our personal preferences, right? So in your case, it depends. What's your financial goal? If it's are you the type who's swinging for the fences? Are you the type na you just want a very conservative yung investment profile? So it depends too.
And I think what's very interesting to look at now when you look at the 1 year's worth of emergency funds, we lack more data. Are you employed? Are you self-employed?
Yeah.
Are you an OFW and then you're not sure if your job is actually stable if you're overseas? So ideally, if you think your job is secure and then you know that there's no interruption of money that will come your way, then as long as you're comfortable with that 1 year, you can invest the other things that come your way. Pero if you're kunyari self-employed, hindi mo alam kung kikita ka ng same amount 7 months from now, then maybe you could make that buffer bigger, maybe make that buffer bigger also. Or pag may pumasok na pera, for example, extra na, you could allocate, sige, since I already have 1 year's worth, ito i-invest ko, pero I'll still put sa emergency fund. Pero you need to know this, the more money you put into your emergency fund, the larger, not the larger, talo sa inflation yun. You won't really earn as much from that. So you have to manage expectations that the larger your emergency fund is, you won't be able to maximize the money that's coming your way. And I like what John said earlier, depende sa approach mo, because if you're the type of person that's more aggressive, then if you're satisfied with that emergency fund, you can go on and take on more risk as well. But if you're the type of person that's more conservative, build that emergency, add to that some more, then keep on adding also on your investments. What's very, very important is, as long as money's coming in your way, you'll be able to keep on investing and adding into it as well.
May i-add ka pa, Frank?
Oh no, they've explained it pretty well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yung bottom line na nakikita ko dito, no, you have to really assess kung ano yung situation mo right now and kung ano yung financial goals mo, no? So you have to assess these factors to answer kung ano nga ba yung pinaka ideal, no, na gagawin mo sa next na makukuha mong income, no? So next question, are dividends guaranteed income?
Nope. So companies actually, the board of any company can choose to cut, curtail, or suspend the dividend. So that's why anytime you invest in a dividend stock, you have to answer three questions, like is it safe, is it growing, and what's the return. And you can learn more about this by downloading our ebook and watch the replay of yung dividend investing strategy that we had a few weeks back with Marvin and Franco as well.
Ayun, so please check our website, dragonfi.ph. Nandun po lahat ng resources na nabanggit ni Sir John.
I have a question for the host. What's more guaranteed, love or dividends?
I think dividends, kasi yung love, di ba? Siyempre yung love, like, it's rare. Tapos, like, kailangan mo pong i-assess kada tao, di ba? So, I think dividends, you can study it, di ba, sa fundamentals.
There's no dividend policy in love.
Ayan. So, moving to our next question, what are your insights in putting up a business for someone who is working 8 to 5?
Oh, wow.
That's a
That's
difficult
another tough
question.
I can share from my experience. Ganun din. 8 to 5, be faithful in your job kasi that's your primary source of income. Then after that, weekends, sa gabi, you can find something na pwede mong pagkakitaan eh. And what's interesting right now is I do believe that we are in the golden era of making money not naman easily but the access to it eh. Kasi before ngayon, pwede ka magbenta sa Shopee, pwede ka magbenta sa Lazada, pwede ka magbenta sa Carousel, pwede ka magbenta sa Facebook, pwede ka magbenta ng services sa Upwork. There's so many things that you can actually do on your spare time for you to be able to earn. And I'll give you an example. Before, if you were a very, very good baker, you would need to lease a space, bake in bulk, market it very, very well, and for people to be able to buy your product. Risk mo nun is you put up a lot of money already, tas pwede kang malugi. Ngayon, post mo lang yung cake mo sa Facebook, and then if people order, that's the only time you start selling it. You don't put up a lot of money to be able to do it. You just have to be very, very creative. So I do believe that right now we are in the golden era of opportunity. And ito pa, because of AI, you can do so many things that will take a large amount of time before in my time when I was actually starting. So I'd leverage AI now to be able to make things easier for me to be able to earn more either during the weekends or after office hours. Pero ito lang, be faithful with your job. Wag naman na dahil meron kayong extra na may side hustle kayo, pinapabayaan mo na yung trabaho mo. You have to, kailangan mo alagaan yung primary source of income mo, which is your job. But I'll give you so many examples. Ang dami yun. When I was working, nagbebenta ako ng damit sa mga office mates ko. I was doing that. I tried a lot of things, not to earn, but I wanted to learn. My brother was selling yung mga bazaar before, he was bringing clothes there. So sabi ko, wala na akong risk kasi I'm not even buying it. It's all my brothers. I'll just show it to my office mates kung sino may gusto. They'll buy it. And then, yung magic word sa mga Pilipino, gusto mo bilhin yan, I'll give it to you, installment. So pag nalaman nilang installment, ay, okay yan, ganun.
Free gifts.
Oh, and then, but yun, my goal there was not to earn, my goal was to learn. Na-realize ko, it's not for me kasi hassle, dadaling ko pa lahat to, bebenta ko pa lahat, kung di naman nabenta lahat, susoli ko pa lahat. I would sell soft drinks in conferences, concessions. you try it. Basta what I said earlier, what you do in your free time will determine where you will be also later on. So 8 to 5, be faithful in your job. Then after that, do whatever you want. As long as hindi pala bawal sa office. Baka mamaya accountant ka, tapos magtayo ka sarili mong accounting practice.
Sir John, maybe.
No, ang galing ng answer ni Marvin kasi he's so spot on na when he said na it's the golden age, right? It's actually tama siya in the sense na asset light na may mga asset light businesses na that you don't really need a lot of capital to start with, selling on TikTok, selling on Shopee, but always know na syempre business talaga eh, mas mataas talaga yung risk yan eh. So I agree with Marvin, kailangan during the intervening duration na yung business mo hindi pa sobrang nag-take off, you gotta prioritize your primary source of income.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ayan. So, next question, may advice po ba kayo para sa mga breadwinner? Ayan. Sino mga breadwinner dyan? Ano?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, so, Sir Marvin.
In what?
Okay, go.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Sir Marvin.
please.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Very broad yung
Yeah,
very broad yung question eh. Siguro I'll address it to people my age already na they're in their 40s. When you have kids and then you're married already and then parang na-realize mo wala ka pang savings, napanood mo tong nag-pop up to sa feed mo tapos nakita mo, uy, parang kailangan ko na to, and then you haven't done anything yet. It's never too late to start. People watch videos like this and then nakita nila, wow, si John sobrang accomplished, sobrang galing na parang I'm so far from where I need to go. It's not too late yet. When you have to think about it that life is short but also life is long. If you're 40 right now, you live until 80, you have 40 years already to be able to do something. So the advantage that you have already right now, kunyari you're 40 years old is this. Pero pang bata pala, no? So yung manunod nito, advantage mo is number one, you may not have any savings, but you have skills. You have the network. You can leverage that. You're never starting from zero. You have already something based on what you have that will allow you to make money. I just one example. There was a business owner who lost a lot during COVID. But sabi niya, I'm not starting from zero because I have my network, and your network is your net worth. Also will define what your net worth is. So yun, he went to his friends and his friends gave him opportunities. At ito pala sasabihin ko, kung breadwinner ka tas madami kang mayaman na kamag-anak, wag mo sila utangan. Wag mo sila hingan ng pera. Pero hingan mo sila ng advice kung paano nila nagawa yun. Sometimes kasi when we have rich relatives, nakikita lang natin na gusto natin sila hingan ng pera or gusto lang natin what can we get from them monetarily. But if all they give you is money, they're shortchanging you. Kasi pag binigyan ka nila ng 10,000 pesos, it stops there. But if they teach you how to do it, if they teach you whatever skills that led to how much they've accomplished, they're giving you much more than the money that they could ever give you. So
yeah. Kasi I assume when you said breadwinner, you're supporting your entire family as a young person. No? Kasi diba, this is honestly that's sobrang tough na question. Like what Marvin said, dapat you should plan ahead. For me, if I were in your situation, I should plan ahead because your family cannot be dependent on you forever. It cannot be that way. Kasi you also have to thrive rin, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a fact of life. Kasi one day you might probably have your own family na rin, right? And it's impossible for everybody to be reliant on you. Let's say, for example, I'm assuming na at this point in time, probably you're supporting a younger sibling who binabayaran mo yung tuition niya. Yeah, I mean, eventually that's not going to be there. So you have to plan for when that's over with, and you have to start investing na. Yeah.
So a tip also that they can do, no? Instead of giving just money, spend on them that you buy books for them, bring them to seminars also, so that they get exposed to what you know also. And it's knowledge. When people get exposed to that, it allows them also to see na ganun pala yun. And when you give them that, you also give them opportunities to earn. Meaning, meron ka bang idea dyan? Bigyan ka 10,000 pesos, simulan natin. Or baka gusto, eto plano ko. I have a daughter now. When she already knows how to maybe access the internet, bibigyan ko siya pera sa stock market. And then bahala siya mag-invest doon. And then plano ko, if, for example, she earns 2,000 from that, tatapatan ko yung 2,000 niya, but she has to put it back doon sa investment na yun. So, I'm making it exciting. So, give them opportunities that they can learn how to make money on their own. Tas pondohan mo siya. I think that would be even better than just giving them money outright. Kasi at least that way you're giving them opportunities to earn.
Yeah.
And ayun, sobrang nagre-resonate sa akin yung sinabi ni Sir Marvin na you have to teach them because hindi naman, like, yun nga, sabi nga nila, no, na hindi naman tayo forever nandito. So, maganda na you teach them, no, yung mga loved ones mo, what you know, para pag natsugi ka na, for example, ayan, alam nila kung anong gagawin, di ba, kahit wala ka na, ayan. So, for our next question, which investments do you suggest a 49-year-old OFW? Goal is for retirement at 57 years old.
Well, that's okay. That's not really that easy question to answer because you have to start by asking yourself how much risk can you tolerate at this age and how much risk because and how much capital you've saved up, because if you do have the risk appetite to do so, you can go into more risky business investment ventures, like you could try and set up your own business which could grow by the time you're 57. But if you're not that risk averse anymore at the age of 49, then you could choose to choose some more safe investments. But the hard part about this is that you want to retire at 57. What's the amount you want to reach, right? So that's, you gotta ask all of these questions first before you can determine what kind of approach you want to take into retiring.
Yeah.
Sir John.
It's not an all or nothing thing, right? It's not either or. Parang that's why you have to diversify, right? So, if I were to put myself in your shoe, right? Your shoes, you went overseas so that your family can have a better life, right? The last thing you want to do is you come back here and then you invest in something that lahat ng life savings just goes away. Magic just goes away. Like for example, yung discussion natin kanina about franchising. That's why I'm very, very wary of. I'll be honest right here, but this is my personal point of view. I'm very wary of mga OFWs who suddenly invest all of their income or all of their savings in mga franchise. Why? Kasi like what Marvin said earlier, I forgot to say this earlier as well. Now when you franchise something, when you start a business, when it doesn't work out, you actually lose 100%. You lose 100%. So yan yung tinatry ko. That's something that I would try to avoid. Kaya kailangan parang you have to actually diversify across different investment. Dapat meron kang some money in money market funds lang, earning a small yield. Tapos meron kang some, kung let's say if you still have if you have the risk tolerance for mga dividend paying stocks and stuff like that. Pero divide it accordingly. Well, that depends on talaga on your risk tolerance, your age. Is it 50-50? Is it a 60-20-20? It depends.
That's hard to answer
Yes.
with not a lot of data. So we have to know kasi magkano na savings mo, may utang ka ba? And then like what Franco said also, what lifestyle do you want is it spending 50,000 pesos a month, 100,000 pesos a month, and then you can already tweak it from there. But for me, what's very, very important is define, number one, how much do you want to get when you are retiring, kasi that will determine already magkano talaga yung kailangan mo maipon. And then when you figure out already na okay, malayo pa ako sa kailangan ko maipon, the dilemma there is you're older already, the amount of risk that you can take might not be as big enough as compared to someone who's in their 20s. Kasi theoretically, if you want to earn more, you need to put in a higher amount of risk. The problem is if you're older already, you cannot take on a higher amount of risk already. And if you're starting it for the first time, the learning curve also means that you might actually lose money while you're actually learning as well. So to answer that, just to be real also, pag nakita mo na mukhang malayo pa ako and I cannot take that amount of risk yet eh. There's a lot of things that you can still do eh. Right now, try to increase that level of income, and everything that you get sa increase the level of income is you add in diretso na sa retirement. Pag kulang pa rin, sige, hindi mo na magre-retire na 57, maybe 62 na lang. There's still a lot of tweaking, and I think that's the advantage of being aware of this at this time and this age, that you already can work yourself towards whatever retirement goal that you have. But to answer the question, you need to know the numbers. Everything will boil down to how much you know about the numbers.
Yeah.
So next question. Gusto kong mag-start mag-invest. Ano ba ang tamang approach? Fundamental or technical?
Both.
Go, Franco.
Sige, go ahead.
Okay, so it would depend as well as if you're an active or passive investor or trader. It would help. Technical would help a lot if you're very active and you're a day trader. But if you're looking to invest for the long term, you could combine fundamental technicals. So with fundamental, you could find strong companies with good dividends, high growth, and stable ones, right? And then with technical analysis, that's where you can determine your entry points and future take profit or stop loss if your investment idea doesn't turn out the way you want it to.
Sir John.
No, Franco said it perfectly. Actually, talaga, you want to align the odds as much in your favor. So the more data points you put into your investment methodology, the better.
Okay, so next question. What do you think is the future of crypto as an investment vehicle for Filipinos? Ayan. So maybe Sir Marvin?
So what's interesting about that is people look at, say, let's separate it first. There's Bitcoin and then there's everything else.
Yeah.
To me, Bitcoin, Ethereum probably is what matters the most.
Yeah.
98 to 99% of the tokens that are 22,000+ tokens that are out there won't be relevant 10 years from now. So if we're just talking about Bitcoin per se, I think people look at Bitcoin na parang asset, parang stocks or parang forex because it's volatile. But they have to see it above and beyond as the volatility, but what the use of that crypto is as well. So yun, my answer to that is this: if they want to research on something, try to look at the white paper of Bitcoin. They can start from there. But 99% of whatever tokens and cryptos that will be out there might not be relevant as well. So yeah.
Sir John.
No, Marvin said it perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, so mas okay ba na magtayo ng sariling business o mag-franchise na lang? So, sinong makakasagot nito?
It's not a one-size-all question,
Yeah.
one-size-fits-all question. Pero if you'll ask me, I'll start my own. It will be harder kasi you're doing things on your own. You don't have a system. You don't have a brand that you can actually bank on. Pero if you're starting early, yung magagastos mo sa pagbayad ng franchise fee, yun din yung magagamit mo sa learning curve nun eh. Yung maganda dun is when you learn it on your own, para siyang gym eh. You get better eh. You get stronger. If you pay the franchise fee outright, nagbayad ka lang. Wala. Pero it doesn't mean that you'll be a better entrepreneur because of that as well. So yun, it's not right or wrong. You can do franchise. You can also start your own. Pero I've never franchised anything in my life. I've started things on my own. So it's hard to say na hindi okay yung franchising kasi madami rin akong kaibigan na nag-franchise that are doing well as well. So I just like starting things on my own kasi that's what I know, that's what I did eh. So yun.
Ayan, so moving forward, meron tayong comment. No?
Ay, nanay ko yan. Train din yung nanay ko.
Iba talaga ang wisdom mo, Sir Marvin.
Nanay.
Yeah.
Ayan, so next question, is there any truth on this phrase? It's not about the timing the market, but time in the market when investing.
Oh, okay. Alam mo, I love this question kasi I've heard so many people say it's not time in the market, it's time in the market. And the answer here, again, as with everything, it depends. You know why? Because they always use this phrase Pero it's always tied to the US markets. There's this data na the S&P 500 over since 1960 or something like that. 81% of the time, it's up. So that's why they use this phrase. So my question here is, I don't have the data with me. I don't have the data with me right now. I don't know if this is applicable to, for example, the Philippine market. Kasi for example, the Philippine market, diba, past 10 years, we've underperformed. But the first decade of the 2000s, the Philippine market actually outperformed the US market. So that's my point. I don't know. I don't have the data, but I feel that requires investigation into.
Ako, why not do both? Why not spend all of your life in the market?
Yeah.
But if you know how to identify areas when you should come in, why not utilize that also on your behalf? Kasi people always try to pit it against each other.
One against the other.
Hindi,
Yeah.
I'm a technical analyst. I'm just gonna time it. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
out when the market is not doing so well, and then kita mo long term ka, you're not performing well today. But here's the thing also is, if you're investing into something and then it doesn't perform for like 3 years, it cycles it. There will be a time that lahat ng linagay mo when the market was so bad, when the market turns, and then you're the one who was able to build the base when the market was very, very low. That's what John said. Now when the market is bearish, you get to buy things really, really cheap, and it will turn. It's just that we don't know how long it will be. We don't know how long the market will turn from sideways to bullish. But there's one thing we could do. You can have a plan on what you're doing before the market turns bullish. Kasi if you're just gonna chase it when it's up already, designing opportunity when it's lower. So my answer to that is a couple of things. Use both. And why not also implement something na ito pang trading, ito pang long term? You can actually do both as well.
Yeah. I'll add to that kasi sometimes I forget my answer. Kung let's say for example, yung timing, time in the market versus timing the market, right? A lot of people use this to validate peso dollar cost averaging. And ako, peso dollar cost averaging actually, if done on individual stocks, is absolutely wrong. Why? Kasi example, kung you bought a stock currently trading at 10 price to earnings ratio niya, 10 PE, right? So does that mean kung next month when when I have the funds, tapos nasa 20 PE siya, should I still be buying? Then what happens when the stock goes higher again and it goes, let's say 30 PE or 40 PE or 50 PE? Should I still be buying? Yung dollar cost averaging sa peso cost averaging is usually done on the index level when you have a diversified portfolio wherein iba-iba yung correlation ng stocks with one another, wherein they move differently in different types of business cycles. So that's why I wanted to push back
I think
against
the
that.
advantage of index funds or
Yeah.
funds in general is hindi nagba-bankrupt yung funds eh.
Yeah.
If you buy an individual stock, that can go to zero, that can close down, or that can be nothing at all. So that's why it works also for funds as well.
So next question natin, no? So why most crypto, NFT, and DeFi got rug pull? Is there any value in them for investing?
Ako, like what Marvin said, it's different, right? It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everybody else, right? Parang what we saw talaga, because there was no regulation around the space pa. People could do the rug pull and could do all sorts of mga shady things, right? So that's why it happened. But it parang ako, I've learned never ever to paint any asset class with a broad brush. Na meaning ko, I'm gonna treat them the same way. Like for example, I always tell this to my friends kasi I started investing November 2000 eh. At that point in time, si Warren Buffett, right? So regarded as one of the best investors in the world, kept on saying he doesn't want to invest in tech stock, right? But what happened? 20 years later, tech stock is so ascendant, right? And he started only investing in Apple and other tech stocks 2017 na, right? So I don't want to make the same mistake. I'm not going to paint any asset class with a broad brush.
So if you look at it, rug pulls are basically scams in general. So why did those rug pulls happen? If you try to analyze it, number one, yung team, it's anonymous. Automatically, why would you want to invest something if you don't know who the team that's building it already? So there are ways already to be able to determine if the project is legit or not. So people think also just because the project fails, it's a rug pull. Pwede talagang nag-fail lang talaga yung project, but they had their best intent in it. They were doing what the project was doing is something that was game changing. It just that it failed. So I think what I want to submit to people is this: when they're looking at crypto, they look at it at a way that they're analyzing tech companies, and a lot of tech companies, they fail. Not everyone becomes Amazon, not everyone becomes Facebook, not everyone becomes Apple. So the same amount of, if you're putting a lot of due diligence in the stock market, I think you should put the same amount of due diligence also in other asset classes as well. Madami na rug pull kasi nasilaw. APY is 100%, 200%. So automatic yun, you have to ask yourself, saan nila lalagay yung pera? Kasi if you don't know where they're putting the monies and how they're giving that large APY, then don't invest in it. You always ask yourself where the money is going, because if you don't know where the money is going, then there's a very very big chance that kung anong linagay mo, binabalik lang nila yung portions na yun, and then you get enticed and then you actually add more, and then it becomes a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. I am down 50% with Converge bought last year. What is the best thing to recover said matter? Thanks.
For me, just speaking out of personal experience and my preference on this, to be honest, I've actually gone through this twice. Once during the height of the pandemic and once when I started. And the one thing I remembered was I was prepared to lose this money. And if I kept holding it, there's an opportunity cost to it, because there are always opportunities outside the market. And with patience and discipline and just consistent work on it, you can eventually recover, because that's what happened in my case. I was down like 60% on one stock, but I just kept emotions aside. I sold it, and then I waited for another opportunity to come my way, and from there I just started back again. And eventually I did reach the initial amount I put in prior to losing it.
I'm gonna make some certain assumptions on the question because I don't have all the details, but I think what the person is trying to ask is what he should do with Converge, right? His stock and how to get back the 50%. There's an investing adage na you don't need to gain back what you lost in the same stock. It doesn't mean that you lost 50% in Converge that you should, you have to gain it all back using Converge. So I mean, the way I would do it is I'd invest in other, other securities outside of Converge.
Okay.
That's an interesting question kasi.
Yeah.
Number one is, I think one of the questions that that person needs to ask himself first is, are you an investor or a trader? If you're an investor, you need to have full conviction on what you're actually buying.
Yeah.
And if you held it up until a 50% low, that probably meant that you're not adding into it already. So a question that might be very, very interesting is, if you really, really like the company and you believe that it's really fundamentally sound also, when it's lower, you should be adding. But if you're down 50%, meaning you didn't, I'm just making assumption you didn't add anymore. So probably baka walang solid conviction on why you actually bought it. Second thing to look at is if you're trading. And if you're trading also, you have to have stricter rules also that there should be a cut loss when you're trading. And hindi na dapat aabot ng 50% yun pag nagte-trade ka. And pag nagte-trade ka, you have to look at it from this perspective. When you cut loss at 50%, para ma-recover yun, you have to double your next investment also. So it could also be a learning experience that you may have lost 50% in this, but like what John said, you can recoup it somewhere else with the fresh amount of capital, and then that will recoup that losses that you have there. I'll make it simple. Kunyari you have 10,000, and then you have another 10,000. That 10,000 lost 50%, so you lost 5,000. So one way you can do it is actually this. when you make, like what John said, when you make successive trades and then you earn already 5,000 from that, edi cut loss mo na yung cut loss mo na yun. Ultimately, nabawi mo na yung the same amount sa portfolio mo.
Yeah.
And then you're freed up with capital as well.
Yeah. Perfect yung sinabi ni Marvin. Kasi if you were trading Converge, you should have never let it go
Hit
down
50.
50%. Yeah. But if you were a long-term investor, you went into Converge thinking that you with the mentality of a long-term mindset. My question is, yung thesis mo for going into Converge, is it still present? Kasi if it's not, then maybe it's time to let it go. Yeah.
Okay. So next question, is it advisable to consider placing a portion of my funds in digital banks such as C-Bank, Maya Savings, etc. for the long term?
Oh, this is not my
Marvin?
Marvin.
Sige, I treat that as an asset class where you want liquidity. Meaning, if you place 100,000 pesos, pag tinanggal mo, you get 100,000 pesos plus interest. It's not, the question is for long term eh. So, normally when you are investing something for the long term, you put it in assets that give you a higher amount of risk because it will beat inflation and it will give you a better return later on. C-Bank, Maya Savings, or at least banks, they're good for placements where you need liquidity. Pag kailangan mo yung pera, mawi-withdraw mo kagad. Pero habang hindi mo pa kinukuha yung pera, you're rewarded with a higher interest as compared to traditional banks as well. So, I think it's interesting is if you want something that's not volatile, na pag kailangan mo yung pera, you still have your capital intact, and then your paid interest over the short term. People need to realize this also, though, that the high interest that they're giving, that won't be there forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That won't be there forever. Some use it as part of their marketing spend, that instead na mag-ano sila na punta dito, tasa ko na lang yung interest, and then once they get their amount of users also, it would drop also over a period of time. So I think people need to manage their expectations that if it's high now, it won't be like that already it won't be like that forever.
Yeah.
So yun.
I agree. It's a customer acquisition strategy for Bond Mayans. Yeah.
Okay, so next, most Pinoys today are more interested in investing in global market, crypto, etc. What advice can you give for people who are new to the market on which market they will invest in?
All right. Anybody? You want Mark?
Sige, try everything.
Yeah.
Try everything. Kasi they're all assets eh. Me and John were talking prior to this. When you go to the global markets, you won't get as high of a dividend yield that you're getting here. So if your goal is dividends, I think you'll get more from the Philippines. If you want to diversify, so for example, there's not a lot of tech companies in the Philippines, the global market is the way to go as well. So it's not an or question eh.
Yeah.
It's about what do you need for your portfolio, because there are certain facets that you can actually benefit from each of those markets. Tsaka yung interesting dyan is this. Tech stocks, especially the AI related ones, matataas na sila. So if you buy now, kasi for the sake of having tech stocks in the global market, you're buying higher. So it's also looking at it, which market is cheaper, which market also will reward me also for whatever goals that I have. So but for me, I'll try everything, and then I'll see later on what I understand, where am I earning more. Kasi sayang naman, magki-crypto ka kasi lahat ng mga kaibigan mo nagki-crypto, tas you lose also money just because you entered it just for the sake of, because everyone was also doing it as well. So try it, and then what you have the most conviction in, that's where you put more money into.
Yeah, perfect yung answer ni Marvin.
That's why Sir Marvin is the financial expert.
Yes. Yes.
Ano lang ako, isang hindi gwapong tao na minahal.
His answer is so perfect kasi the thing is, I love financial markets in general. I invest in the US, I invest here, I tried crypto as well. So the point is, parang be open-minded, try to develop yung core competency mo, whether it's the US market, the Philippine market, and see what fits your investing strategy.
And I'll say this also.
Yeah.
I don't do binary options. I don't
Yeah.
do forex. There are a lot of things that that are good investments that I don't do because it's not me. It's not my core competence.
Yeah.
It's not what I know. It's not what I'm excited about. But I have friends. They like forex kasi sabi niya individual stocks ang hirap aralin yan. Pag nagfo-forex ako, I just look at GDP, I just look at inflation, I just look at interest rates, and it's easier to look at data, and it's more liquid. But that works for them. It doesn't actually work for me. So if you're looking at it, you just mentioned 3 choices, but there's a lot out there. But even me, all of those options there, I don't even get into them as well. Yun.
Okay, so next question. Gusto ko pong start mag-trade with DragonFi, but I don't have 25K as a starting investment currently. Any other ways I can start trading? I guess, Sir John.
Yeah,
can
actually,
answer this question.
after this podcast, we have a limited time offer wherein the minimum opening balance will be 5,000.
Oh, so exciting, no? Makakapag-invest ka na as early as 5K. So, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have today for answering your questions. But you may send in your questions to help@dragonfi.ph, and for sure may sasagot po dyan. So, don't be shy na mag-email sa amin, and we will answer it as soon as possible.
May follow-up question po.
Okay.
Pwede ka daw ba magninong sa kasal? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Ayan. So, as we're about to end this podcast, so do you have any parting words that you can share to the audience? Maybe Sir John can start.
Oh, well, I really enjoyed yung discussion namin. Marvin was fantastic. You know, we love this discussion, and I hope that you guys really learn something and you're encouraged to invest. You know, as we mentioned, it doesn't matter where, right? Try them all, right? It doesn't have to be the Philippine stock market. It can be crypto. It can be the US stock market. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, but you should invest.
And hindi lang hindi issue yung kung gaano kalaki yung i-invest mo. You can start as small
Yes.
as
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can. And then go,
Yeah.
Franco. Do you have any parting words?
I hope all of you learned something here today. If not, you can always rewatch it. And I guess all I have to say is you can start investing now and practice discipline, you know?
So first of all, thank you DragonFi for inviting me. What you're doing here is you're educating Filipinos. So I think it's something that's very admirable because that's what I think Filipinos need. People like watching showbiz. People like watching things that entertain them. It's time that we change the narrative, that we teach people on something that will educate them and will propel them further. So keep on learning kasi para sa akin, the amount that you earn will really be dependent on how much you learn. So wag mo na habulin yung pera. Filipinos always like, kaya nasa scam eh. People always like to get rich quick. People always like to earn money. Focus first on learning, and then when you know already what you're getting into, that's when you go aggressive and keep on investing as much as you can. Okay. So yan.
Yeah, so thank you, Sir John, Franco, and Sir Marvin.
Thank you.
This has been your Adulting Guide to Early Financial Freedom. Thank you for listening, and see you in our future events.